welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret Carlton. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hope y'all are doing well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. We have adventures. So this Friday we're talking about AI and FileMaker. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. Feel free to go to our annual subscription bundles and pick up one of these beauties over here. Every once in a while, I get people go like, "Hey, Margaret, the live streams are pretty cool, but I gotta say, I really don't like the hour-long format. Pick the issue. They have an issue with something about the format." And I'm like, well, what you're really looking for is pre-recorded videos that cover very specific topics, which is what we have. We have those. You can go get those. You can go download them. You can pretty much very competently become an intermediate level FileMaker developer just by watching them. We start from the beginning and we assume that you know nothing. So if also you look at all this, you're like, I really like FileMaker. FileMaker is really cool. I really want to use FileMaker. I don't know how to do something specific, but I don't want to do it myself, or you're just in general don't want to sit down and do all the development. You can hire us. Feel free to give us a ping at support@rcconsulting.com and hire one of our many amazing senior engineers. Nick is one of those. So with all that being said, Nick,
Yes.
what exactly are you and I are talking today by the sounds of it? So what are we doing today?
Okay. Today we talk about the AI in general, right?
Yes.
And AI in general, and in FileMaker, in your FileMaker life in particular. That means, you know, we okay. If you are 50 plus, like I do, even if I don't look like, uh, they say no. uh, if you are 50 plus, you live this multiple time in your life, you know, where you reach a moment in your professional life or in your lifetime, right, where things come uncomfortable, right? So, and Steve Jobs, which is my mentor slash, I have people like this where I follow their teachings, right? So it's part of it. It's one of part of it. And it was when the iPad came out, the iPad, not the iPhone, okay? When the iPad came out, he said, this will change everything and people will feel uncomfortable. He said, a lot of people will feel uncomfortable with this when the iPad came, okay? And that's true because it was 2010 and the advent of iPad was the moment where the touch software ramped up because we had um, the advent of the iPad and at the same time the App Store. That means they open to developers to build, third-party apps. That was the first time developer had to deal with touch device. So that's why the iPad was the first, they made the iPad and then they have the App Store, right? So, and so it's not the first time that happened that we reached, we had a computer, right? And I remember people were struggling with the computer, right? When in the late 80s, early 90s, I was living in France back in the day, and pretty much all professionals, everybody wants to get to jump in with the computer because they need for their accounting, right? The accountant was asking for more document like Excel, right? Stuff like this. Well, so and people were extremely comfortable. They had the mouse like this. They said, "Okay, what I'm doing with this, right?" So I remember people say, "What do I do with this, right?" When we don't ask that anymore, right? Nobody is always going to ask what I'm doing with the mouse. It's natural. It's a natural gesture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and so we had a computer, we had internet, right? That was second, right? And now we have the AI, right? But uh, at the level of the anthropomorphic level, okay, so that means the human history, this is not the first time we had like a technology that will revolutionize the world. Okay. The technology would destroy the most job in history, right? Is the invention of the wheel that destroyed billions of jobs, the wheel, you know, and many things, like the the laundry machine, I mean the fridge, the car, So we we all adapt, like for example, when the car came because of the situation of the horse, right? When it wasn't possible anymore with the growth of population to rely on horse. It was like people were dying, by dying by the poop of the horse, right?
Yes.
So, and all those jobs related to horses went disappeared, right? But with new job, like the gas station people and the car manufacturers, and so there's a new job, right? So new thing. So the AI, I understand. So AI put many people uncomfortable because that a new tool. It's like it's a living entity. It's not like a technology where you can turn a knob and what will happen, right? It's not like on off like this, or 1, 2, 3, right? Or 10 degrees, 20, 30. You don't. You can't really predict how this will react, right? So it's like it's a moving entity, right? It's a reacting entity, and it's a moving platform. That means uh, on the other side, they change. So it's a constant evolution, and thing change, right? And the result you might get is different, right? So that's why it makes everything uncomfortable, right? And the problem we have now with FileMaker, right? I mean, in general, and with FileMaker, is that we can't ignore. It's there, and it's not going away. Unfortunately, this is it, right? It's not going away. It's going to get worse. Okay. So, and that on your everyday life, work, personal, professional, uh, it needs to be um, is there. So now you need to know what are you going to do with it. Okay. So look the phone, for example. The phone is there, and even if you don't want one, you have to have one, right? There's no choice anymore. The AI is the same thing, right? You can't do. You could live without, but then now you are like, if you're not using internet. I knew somebody like this. I knew somebody that never connect to internet, never in his entire life. To me, yeah, he's living on another planet. That's his choice, right? Um, but he's 82 years old, so right. So I mean, if you're 20, I don't think you can live like this, right? Or 30, if you are a professional, if you're working and how you live like this, it's almost impossible. Or you have a life like disconnected from the world, and you have a lot of good things on the internet. I mean, there's good thing, bad things, right? AI is the same thing, so for just we have like a general conversation like this, because I was giving a good deal of thought on this, right?
Well, because people are still resistant to generally adopting it, and
Yeah.
I understand. Well, I just fought with AI for like the past 2 to 3 weeks. Generate response. We haven't done. You haven't done generate response from model yet. That script step is. I'm just gonna say it, it's a nightmare. It's it's an
Okay. So
actual nightmare
yeah.
and not well
So
documented.
yeah. So that's a problem. Okay. So that's why I wanted to jump in and try to bring like first, I know that 90% of people watching the video about the semantic search, the semantic find, and the natural language find, they didn't even know what it was. So at least now they could see like what you can do with this. And you saw myself struggling with it, right? Because on the other side you have a living entity. Okay, so where okay, FileMaker did a good job, and I'm very, very pleased with this, okay? That they didn't ignore, like, oh, no, no, la, 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 No, they jumped in, they joined in, they joined the game.
Yes.
And that good, because
Yes, no, like
otherwise,
I'm not opposed to them adding the script
yeah,
steps. The script steps
yeah,
needed to be added.
yeah,
The problem is that FileMaker's biggest selling point, I feel like to most people, is that it's accessible for people who are not heavy programmers.
exactly. So, and this is where I think they failed because they made everything a little bit too complicated.
Yes, like, and they didn't, for example, if you pull up generate response from model, hold on, I'm going to actually pull this up myself because I want to talk
Mhm.
briefly about this and complain
Yes.
to a senior engineer. Uh,
No,
where is this is the absolute nightmare of the starting point release. You'll recognize that. That's proof chat. Proof chat works fine. That's not the issue. This was where is it? Oh, I'm in the wrong version of FileMaker. They really have to change the colors every time they make a new one because I get confused. I
yeah,
need
or put the number on the icon or something like this.
something because I'm like, oh, wrong one. Okay, there we go. Uh, and then Command Shift S. I usually navigate via Command K. Anyway, so if you look at generate response from model, which I wish I could make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? There's a yes.
Yeah.
God bless MBS. Um, you will notice there's a little like thingy that you can option, right? That doesn't actually have all the things that you need to put in here.
Yes. So
There's the user
yes.
prompt, there's instructions, and then there's messages. And I needed all three for those to work. And I still don't totally, frankly, understand the difference between all three. So that's part of the reason why people are not interested in AI, is that they look at this and they go, that's a lot of options. And to be fair, them having a little pop-up, that's good. That's less. It used to be you had to do insert from URL, I think, to get AI to work, which is,
Mhm.
that's very
Yeah, it was
advanced.
even more funky. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh, but like for example, I only got this to work finally because I realized that I had to have something in messages. Messages in the description and the help says this is like a past history. I didn't need a past history, so I left it kind of empty. Like I put a string in it, but I left it empty. Um, it turned out that the only way that I could pass, it's probably not the only way, but the only way I could figure out how to pass, because what this script is doing is that it's taking base 64, it's pulling information out of the base 64 and making a record with it. In this case, a business card. I had to pass the base 64 not through the user prompt and not through instructions, but through messages, which is not how I would have conceived of using it at all to begin with. So it's it's new, it's complicated, it's dense.
Yes. So, but this is where um, you can ask you can ask ChatGPT to tell you all about this. Ask ChatGPT itself to teach you how it works.
See, I did that and it could not. Now, I've used ChatGPT for like stuff like HTML or Markdown or it knows JSON, right? But it
Hmm.
doesn't know FileMaker as well as it should. Um, it led me in kind of circles. Because what I would do is we can see the screenshots. Let's go on the Margaret screenshot adventure very briefly.
Yes.
Marg's AI testing in the folder. Uh, I got a host of invalid AI request, function not found, missing parameters, tools. A lot of this was me not understanding JSON, unfortunately. This actually was not JSON related, but it seemed like it was JSON related. The point is, I got like a lot of these. That was a rate limit one. I asked many times. That's an easy fix. Um, but like a lot of these were just I would take this screenshot and I give it to the AI. I'm like, hey, I'm getting this problem with FileMaker. And it would give me an attempt at fixing it. I would get a new error. So I would make progress, but it can never actually fully resolve it. Because I think that the AI doesn't know FileMaker as well as it knows other coding languages. Uh, yours
Yeah.
might know it really well, Nick, because you've trained the heck
Yeah.
out of yours, but I haven't trained mine very well,
Yeah.
so it doesn't know
Okay.
what
And
it's
I have,
doing.
yeah, and I have the paid version, which makes a big deal of difference here.
Mm.
The problem is, okay, when something happened like this, okay, don't try to ask the AI to understand what this is, what could cause this. Just ask the AI, okay, I want to use that function. Assume I'm a dumb and teach me. And then you have step-by-step stuff like a teacher, right? And then you can learn, bit by bit what things do, right? So this is how I learned. I didn't even go to the help to the FileMaker help, which is useless. Um, and
Yeah.
it's useless. It's useless. This help is way too basic.
They
So
wrote a lot, but not enough.
yeah, I mean, the problem of the help of the help is it's too it's too tech savvy for beginners to understand, and is not tech savvy for advanced people to be helped.
That's a really good description of it. That's probably like my biggest. I wish they had like this split into two things. They have the really basic, like you really just want this to work. You've never fussed with an AI in your life. Here is the really basic step by step for how you get that to work. And then, I don't know, a list of maybe possible errors that you could encounter regularly would be nice. Because going in circles with the errors made me want to tear all of my hair out
Yeah,
and fall
and
over.
okay, so another big problem is that look this. How you can read and understand that?
I have no idea. I didn't. I could not.
I mean, what I'm saying is, if the guy who can understand this doesn't need the help, and the guy who need the help can't understand anything about this, how to use this, we don't know. It's important. I don't know, and so the help, FileMaker help. Okay, first it's a colossal work, you know. It's a colossal database of information built for decades, the help in
Yes.
FileMaker, right?
Yes, they've been
So
adding to this for as long as FileMakers existed, basically.
yes, so we have to give that to them, okay? The problem is they for these new generation of steps and function and stuff, they should have evolved and not stay stuck in the past with their past help like uh, architecture, right? So and the problem is they don't want to invest money there, So and that's why they rely on us.
Yes, and I mean they rely on the developers. Also, I've talked to a lot of Claris engineers, especially recently. They're all super nice, by the way. They work their butts off. They're super nice. They're fabulous. They are also deep in the sauce. they are really deep in the sauce in the sense of like they're coding FileMaker, so they're all very advanced developers by nature. They're not necessarily the people who use FileMaker. Um, like in that sense of like they're not like me or like a lot of you where maybe I'm a
Yeah,
bad example, but you
and
pop it
that
open and you fiddle around with it, you're like, I'm lost.
yeah. So when I remember when I was there, I was working with Robert Horsey and Rick Kalman and stuff.
Hmm.
I was the gatekeeper saying that, hey, you can't do that. I would say you can't do, this is not FileMaker at all. This is, you know, yeah, you need to go back to the drawing board. I mean, this is not FileMaker. This is not like we expect things as a developer, right? Like I remember the thing I saved from the big catastrophe is there two things, three actually. The new calc dialog, which I completely designed, by the way, because where they want to go was terrible, right? It was something like Excel or function builder, something that you don't want to be next to it, you know, so much it stinks. Okay. Um, that's the first thing I saved from catastrophe. Keep FileMaker, right, and not going somewhere else, you know. The script workspace and the new import dialog. That was something like they were completely on free fall on this, and I say, okay, if you do this, you know, like, oh, why we need that option? Oh, nobody used that. Like, the perform relookup and perform auto entry and calculation when you import. Yes, no, right? Uh, they want to get rid of this completely. And I say, yeah, are you sure you're okay? Do you want to like call a doctor or something like this? Because if you do this, you destroy the product, right? So anyway, and on the AI, what they miss, they miss somebody like this. They miss somebody say, hey, this is great, but okay, is we you don't hide enough. You don't hide enough the complexity. You don't encapsulate the complexity. It needs to be simpler than this. Okay. And it needs to be like, okay, you need to have like the bare minimum to get working, easy to access, easy to do, like, like a auto setting, boom, right? And if you want advanced, you have an advanced button and boom, you know, and you get to all their SQL slash JSON slash, but we need to have like like you say, okay, I want ChatGPT, right? And this is my key, boom, right? It works. And then if you have oh yeah, but I want a different model, I want a different temperature, I want a different whatever, so you say, okay, option, edit or specify whatever, advanced button and boom, right?
Yes.
So I mean and for all those things like this generate response from model, for example, right? So 99% of people will use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, right? So make it easy for those people to get response, right? And and
Yes. And like a lot of what I feel like I don't know. When I've worked with I have found tool calls be the most useful thing. Tool calls, for people who don't know, is basically the ability to tell an AI to go perform a script. Like an AI by itself can't automatically trip a script in FileMaker, but if you give it a list of JSON currently, and it's aware that's an option, it'll respond to certain calls. Like if I say, I need you to create 5 contacts or whatever, it could go run a script in FileMaker called create a contact and um, start that for you. But I haven't seen a lot of that done with that yet, and I think it's probably like the most useful thing it can do because it's so difficult to interact with. Like it's not abstracted out of JSON yet, which is going to be a big barrier of entry for a lot of people looking to do that kind
Yes,
of thing.
okay, and that the problem is that the JSON stuff, they rely on this a lot, which I understand why, but this should have been hidden. Or if you want to have access to it, well, but so yeah, it's unfortunately it's not going to change. So that's why I personally invest myself on trying to get as simpler as possible, right? To the need of the usage of AI on FileMaker. I think the semantic, if you watch the video of the semantic search and the find by natural language, start slowly, start using slowly, right? And you will start seeing that it's not that complicated when you used to, start small and then you ramp up like this, right? And but personally, I'm using more AI on like a developer assistant, not really on FileMaker itself, or beside the semantic search. I'm using this for some of my customers. The find by natural language, I'm ramping this more and more. And I'm coming soon with a new dashboard thing, right? A new way of building dashboard where you pretty much don't need to change anything in the schema. So that means you can collect everything from everywhere and collect all of this in one place without to have to build scripts, fields, and relationships. So, and all of this is possible because I'm using AI. The AI helped me understand and help me build the technology, build the architecture behind this new dashboard stuff. So this will be like next year. We are going to have like 2 or 3 weeks on this. How to build a dashboard, the new generation of dashboard. Okay. No needs of AI to use it, right? It's a pure 100% FileMaker stuff. But I used AI as an assistant and a teacher and a technical knowledge database to build it, to invent it, to create the architecture. Okay, I wouldn't have done that without AI. It's impossible. So
Why,
that's
what
yeah.
made it impossible without AI? Because I'm
Oh,
curious.
because I will never have come with that idea of making. You remember my vertical schema
Yes.
where I have calculations and fields outside of the schema, and I'm using records as field and calcs, and
Mm-hmm.
so I pushed that to the next level, and I'm writing SQL queries in fields, right? And then I'm asking FileMaker to evaluate those queries on the fly. So these concepts of using SQL never had been come to my mind because I don't use SQL, but I wasn't using SQL before because first I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to learn that BS because to me it's like, oh, you have a Mac, right? You have a mouse and you have a graphical interface. Okay, you need to learn DOS. That's how I feel. So I didn't want to go to the SQL stuff. But now with ChatGPT, I don't build one line in SQL, right? Like for example, I did a test today. I can maybe share my screen right quick. And so this was something I was working for a friend of mine with, so every time somebody asks me something and I need to invest myself and invest my free time and stuff like that, I try to do and to get something out of it. And that would be a webinar. Okay. So this is what I ask, So I ask that you know, I want to translate that relationship. I want to make that relationship into a sequel, but it didn't understand. So he did it, but he didn't understand well. So I said, so this was a sequel, but then I said, hey, turn it into an execute sequel, and then it said execute sequel, but it wasn't working because it wasn't making the right thing. So because I didn't send the right names of this was the table I want
Oh,
the
okay. So you gave it the wrong information
yeah. So
initially.
and then I said, okay, select this. So all of this because I sent a screenshot of a relationship. I said, okay, I want this, right? And after that, I said, yes, but I have a calc. So I want this relationship, okay, replicated with SQL. And then I said, I have a calc with, uh, I need the SQL to do a count like this. And I put the calc, let count, and he said, okay, here the execute SQL. And he understood perfectly what I want to do. He said a select count, So all of this has been written by ChatGPT. I didn't do that.
It's definitely impressive. I'll have to try like the smarter one, the one that you have to pay for, to see how much it improves in my
Oh,
ability to
it
talk to it about
improved.
FileMaker
Yeah,
because
it
I was not
improved.
super impressed. I mean, I wasn't unimpressed. It did give me functions that were mostly correctly filled out,
Yeah.
but it very quickly fell into circuitous thinking in my
Yes.
experience.
So this is what I'm using most of the time. I'm going to the thinking, not the pro. The pro, I ask something like this. I need to wait like maybe 10 minutes each time I'm asking a question. So I'm using pro when I really need but like you said, research grade intelligence. So that's no margin for error. It goes and scrub every single inch of. So that's why but the thinking, and when you add the thinking, so you said, okay, let's go to the thinking. And in the thinking, you have different speed. Okay. You have the lights, the standard, and the extended. I'm going to extend it most of the time. It takes like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, right? To and so it came with this. I copied this and boom, it was working perfectly. Okay. So and so now that I can build SQL, that means now I can get a result without building a relationship, right? So uh, this is actually okay. So if you want, I can show you what I want to do. Right?
Someone said Nick is now using plugins in SQL. The world is upside down.
Yes, okay. I'm using plugins. So In France, we have a saying that only dummy people don't change their mind. No, it's not this. It's that the platform evolved. Okay. Well, MBS, for example, I'm using MBS. I'm not using like this is. I'm using MBS because I have to give credit to uh,
Christian.
yeah, Christian Plain. I have to give him credits that uh, his plugin uh, is extremely great um, for my everyday life. Okay, so I see advantages, right? So I see benefits. Everything that saved me time, I use. I don't dismiss. Okay, so MBS helps a lot.
Yes, it does a lot
Uh,
for you.
where MBS were lacking, uh, or goodness is help, documentation, and example. So that's why I was reluctant to use that plugin. But he was smart enough. Is smart enough, not blocking ChatGPT to go to his website and read his website, and then I can ask ChatGPT. Oh, okay. By the way, what in MBS? What is the thing to do this and that? He said, boom. Oh, that's the function, right? Oh, can you give me some example? Or by the way, I said, okay, this is my schema, this is my table, this is my field, this is my stuff. I want to do this to this. Write it to me, right? So now I can use MBS because I don't go to monkeybreads.com website anymore. Why you want me to go there? You know, when I can pick a function on MBS and say ChatGPT, oh, I want to know everything about this. Teach me how it works. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why I want to have the conversation about AI. It's because this is how I use AI. I don't, you know, semantic find and find by natural language is not a big deal to me, and it's not because it's making nice PDF. Yeah, okay, it's fine. But where I see as a developer, I'm not saying as a final customer, okay? As a developer, the first and foremost advantage of AI is this. Let's say, okay, I said, for example, let me take this example of. So this is a dashboard, which looks nice, by the way. Okay. By the way, this company, they have 4 developers in Colombia. Okay.
Ooh,
And yeah, it's a big company. And they used, and one day I will bring Arturo in the webinar as a testimony. They are building everything following the webinar I make entirely. So everything here, everything there. I didn't build anything on this. This is not me. This I didn't build it. They did. They did completely based on the webinar. Everything, everything, even the how they build the schema, you know, it's all based on what they learn watching here, right? The design, techniques, all of this, right? Sometimes they ask me for advice. They ask me, oh, well, we have a problem here and there. Can we're friends. When I go over there, we go eat. I go to his house. I mean, he's a friend of mine, so so we good friends. but everything is big. As you can see, it looks like something I would have done. Okay. And it's not at all small. Uh, see what I mean? It's a very, very big file,
That's
but
a lot of relationships.
extremely clean. Okay.
That's
So
crisp. That's very crisp.
yes. So when I do help them, sometime I do help them. I use what I do for them, and I use in webinars. Like, you remember that scheduling stuff that I did once? The scheduling and with the time shifts for the next month and stuff. So I did so that was from them. Okay. So here we have the same. They have a challenge here. Okay. So they have a dashboard here, but every time, so they have uh, um, a table here, right? And in the table, so they have a relationship to another table, this T179 relationship. And so it's going to this cross-reference 6. So here what they have, so they have all those fields, right? This one, this one, this one, this one, and it's growing, and then in more, then in more, then in more fields, right? Because it's the dashboard, okay? And they start having a lot of relationship from that dashboard, that is one place, and then you go to many places. So it's the T221, if I remember well. Oh no, T211. Okay, see, they go everywhere, from dashboard to this, from dashboard to this, from dashboard to this. You see what I mean? So they connected to, and it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, right? So instead, I said, let's have one relationship, one field, right? And this to be all of this, right?
That'll
All
be
of this.
cool. That'll
Okay,
be really
all
cool
yeah,
when you do that.
yeah. So, and all of this to be in the system, and where is uh here dashboard, and here, and then you ask for each one, and then here I have my what is doing. So we have for each one, right? We have a different SQL, different icon, SQL, right? So pretty much I am reproducing. I am reproducing the where is the okay. So I'm reproducing the dashboard, but instead of having for each dashboard here, for each blocks here, instead of having a field and the relationship, well, I have this instead. Is one field, one relationship, and I make this to be, and for each of them, I will have a different one. Okay, for each of them here, this one, this one, this one, this one, it will be a different SQL calculation, right? So for example, you see here, here it says, um, I have this horror here, right? So here, yeah, it's confusing if I do this. So so let's put here. Of course, it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. It should have worked. I don't know. Anyway, but it shows the same thing. So you have the icon here. So well, when I will be done with this, I will show you this. But the thing is, first, the concepts came from a conversation I had with ChatGPT, right? And then ChatGPT is fully capable of generating me this. So I don't need to do that. And I don't want to do that. So I did some tests, and each time it do it well. So I said, what I want, it builds the SQL, right? And then I just go and put that here, right? So, and where, uh, so also, I'm going to build here, they have like a go to relay record here, see? Right? They have like a go, they have a go to relate records based on a relationship. But I don't make relationship. I won't have a relationship anymore for this, because the result will be the result of a SQL query, not no more. So I won't have a go to relate record. So how I can replace a go to relate record and make it something that it can be programmatically written in text. Well, this will be done by a perform find by natural language, because here I will say, okay, this button here will be go to that layout. So I'm going to put the layout name here. And what will be the record I need from that layout? You know what I mean? What the record I need. So I will put here a text by natural language, and that will be the record I want. So pretty much I will make a go to related record on the fly based on the new perform find by natural language. So what I want to do right now is to bring to you, right, something completely new, outstanding, something that couldn't be done before. So that means I we can build as many as we want widgets like this without having to build one relationship or create one field, or we can layouts, what's the name, scripts. Everything will be programmatically here. Everything will be there. What it does, right? So, that's why I did my best to bring you this and this, right? They're semantic. I'm going to explore the perform SQL query by natural language as well, because it looks promising, because I think I can get rid of this also. I mean, using this, I can just write here text, an explanation of what I want, a prompt, and the SQL will be generated automatically, right? So that's the next step. Okay, so first step, this. Without the help of ChatGPT, I will never be able to do that. Never.
Let's, you know, that's interesting. We do have some questions real fast I want to tackle because we're actually getting to the end of our hour.
Yes.
Ballpark, how much do you spend monthly on ChatGPT 5.1 thinking queries?
Okay. $200 a month.
There you go.
That's it. It's I can let me go to my settings here and let me see. I freeze my screen to go to my settings and show. I don't want to show any. Where I can go to the where I can go to the check updates. Um, I don't know where to go for the yeah in yeah I'm there. I want to go to settings and see all the. I think I need to go online. Um, okay. Uh, I think I need to go, but I'm spending the pro version costs um, what's the name $200 a month, right? And but I'm more than happy to pay this, really, because it changed my life completely. For FileMaker, I mean, all of those things I don't do it. All the complex stuff I don't do them. Complex scripts, complex, or sometimes I have a problem on the calculation. It's an everyday work assistant that I have. Not mentioning my all the stuff. Okay, so that I'm doing with ChatGPT that not work related, right? So that means when you have access to that level of knowledge, it's like having Albert Einstein in your phone, right? So I don't know if you have hobbies like mine, or if you're interested in, I'm living in Greece, so imagine all the history stuff. I've learned more in 2 months. I've learned more about this island where I'm living than in my entire life, right? And even people living here for all their life, I teach them, oh, you know this building, or you know this, or you know that. I know because ChatGPT told me. So yeah, I'm using ChatGPT for every single thing. Like for example, today it's something that ChatGPT told me to do. A food, and it was like, wow, I was proud of myself. And so I'm using ChatGPT for everything, you know. But in your life, for your work, it's more about being like a developer assistant, and that will bring you to the next level because you can tell ChatGPT, okay, pretend you are a FileMaker developer, and right, and or even more, you say, okay, let's say I don't know squat about FileMaker, right? Teach me this. You know, let's say, I'm 10 years old. I'm 10 years old and you need to explain that to me, right? At one point, he even brought some drawing to make me understand, right? And the drawing made me understand because I couldn't understand nothing what he was saying. About FileMaker, he pulled drawings. So because I said I don't understand, be more explicit. Pretend I'm 10 years old. Pretend the latest idiot on the planet, right? So you need to and that's more and more you you will use ChatGPT, more and more you will learn, right? You will learn and he will learn because You know, it's like a pet. When he's doing something good, you need to tell, okay, that I like, store it, remember, right? Right? When you have something, say, oh yeah, I want you to keep this for the next, right?
Yes. There's a Yeah, people are talking about like ballpark how many FileMaker Pro developers spend between 100 and 200 monthly. Let's say for consideration 1,000 developers. That's like 10,000 to 20,000 monthly. How to creatively redirect that revenue to Claris or a cloud resource. I mean, Claris, that's a comment in Twitch, which I will copy over.
Yeah, FileMaker is, they're missing the point. I mean,
Well, to be fair, the infrastructure to redirect that towards them would be insane. Like currently, the hardware that AI requires is it's substantial. Um, it's probably the biggest driver of improved hardware technology at the moment, frankly, is trying to get AI not to
I
enhance.
think what they're missing is a partnership. They need to go to OpenAI and say, hey, we need a partnership. You know, we want to buy you some of your, brain power for because they do. What do you think? You think all those are, I don't know. You have so many AI apps outside about, oh, how I can lose weight, how I can cook this, how I can fix that, right? What do you think? Do you think they have their own AI? Of course not. They use ChatGPT, they use, they use OpenAI or a Gemini or whatever, and they have a partnership with them, They pay them, give us your power, and then they build their own like agents, right, on top of it. This how so they definitely Penry 1751. Uh, of course, FileMaker could make a lot of money out of this, right? Of course, saying, oh, let's say they could charge like on top of their FileMaker subscription bundle, they can say, oh, okay, you have what do you want? You want the AI, you want the pro, or you want the experts, right? So, but they need to make like something extremely well trained for FileMaker. You know, what I want to see here, I want to go to the CAG dialog and I say, okay, uh, I want to CAG from that table and that table and that do this and that, and the result should be this. And poof, the CAG is written, right? That's what I want. Built in my solution, you know? So I know they're working on this, you know? So that's what I want. I want to be I want to be able to say, okay, I want a script, right? That goes to that layout, right? And I want to I want a script like what's the name? You know, um, it's hard to if I was over there at FileMaker, I would have done it. I want to see I want to like something like uh, um uh, find records from from and then you say let's say when you say uh, uh, that no hash like this and you have all your all your um, table coming like this, right? If you like this, you have all your table doing like this, right? So you call your table, so you say, okay, uh, find record from this, and go to that layout. And when you say layout, poof, you have the list of all the layouts, and you select the layouts, right? You know what I mean? And then and then try to use this scripts, perform that script. You have the script list, and you can, so you can you can have like a prompt or like a prompt dialogue where you can call everything from the heart of your database of your project, right? Of your file, and then you can have a natural language like this, and then okay, and you can have like a chat interaction with ChatGPT, back and forth like this, and pretty much having what I'm done here, right? But inside FileMaker, right? And boom, you have your script is written. And you can say, okay, include comments, for example, in the script. And of course, you can go there and say, oh, okay, you can tweak, say, oh, okay, yeah, I want that on, right, or off, right? You can tweak here and there, right? Uh, Depending on if you find something that or you say, oh, I want to add something, So ChatGPT can build, and then you can tweak on top of it. So I want that to happen. And if it doesn't happen, FileMaker will go away and with us. I think this is the beginning, and that's why I was very, very happy to see those things, right? So I was very happy to see that, you know, and so I was very happy
Mm-hmm.
because that means they are serious about AI. We have now a section, right? We have a full section here, as important as navigation, right? So it's very part of the core of the software. So uh, and I know they won't stop it, but yeah, all of those things, the configuration, all of those things, this is not good enough, you know, this year. They need to go back to the drawing board on this. They need to improve those things. Right? But long story short on this discussion, um, you cannot dismiss this. I know it's scary, and I know, I know. In there are personally, I'm not even sure how long we stay up in that work. Okay, so no, really, we're facing like a biblical problem with this AI stuff. You know, it will be a big problem, right? So, and but the best, when when you're in the storm, right? It's better to be ahead and not behind. Okay, so you need to be ahead. You need to face the storm and not to be like behind, because you're going to be like wiped. So and learn how this works. That's why, yeah, it's I know, to be honest with you, I feel I'm with you. This is super painful, but you need to go over it. It's necessary pain. So I try my best with the webinar to get that down, right? And that's why I'm going to bring like a new example of how to use those things, what you can do with the things. Because now that I know how this works, right? I know how many things works. Well, I I could come with some new ideas and new concept like this dashboard concept. I know it works. I made it working, right? So now that I have this concept working, well, I need to make it nice and clean and presentable. But soon I'm going to come with this, with a complete customizable dashboard like this, right? And I want to use um, this generate response from model, right? And try to get these things to be built from ChatGPT itself, from FileMaker. Let's say, okay, like logic here, click edit or customize, right? And with a ChatGPT icon here. Then you have a CounterStar window coming here. And then you have like a back and forth discussion. You say, okay, you ask something, boom, 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 right? And ChatGPT come with the answer, right? Boom. You have like a discussion, like a chat inside FileMaker, right? And when you are happy with a calc, well, you can say you select and say insert, right? So, and you insert the calc that, because it will be easier for me to send the what's the name, the table names, right? I can say, hey, go from the T12, right? And and send the name of the fields, but directly from not having to go there, right? I'm trying to go to do like an editor inside of FileMaker to do this, right? But that will be in 2.0 version. But there's many things we can do, right? But you can't dismiss this. And unfortunately, you need to invest a little bit of money on this, because the problem is this: if you stay in the free version, you will say, this is useless. I can't get anything out of it, so I don't use it, right? So but if you pay for it, if you invest a little bit of money, then you will start getting things much more relevant and much more interesting and much more, and that will help you much more. And then you will feel like, oh yeah, this is well invested, because you save time, you save painful time, you save, you save a lot of efforts, right? I, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have been capable of writing this. I don't know to write SQL stuff. I have no idea how this works, and write these, slash quotes. It's a nightmare in FileMaker to write this, and ChatGPT did it for me, right? So
There we go. I think it's been a good discussion. We've had a lot of chat back and forth. So
yeah, but that's good. It's the plus is okay. Even though, uh, yeah, I wish, yeah, but David, you have it with ChatGPT is doing it, you know, it's doing very well. The best SQL or editor in the world, you know, just you need to give them, you need to give, like I did. The best is to send a screenshot of what you want, like I did. Well, I send a screenshot, say, okay, this relationship I have, this is the calculation out of the relationship I have. I want a SQL query instead. And boom, with a minimal tweak, boom, I got it. So yeah, it's but the plus, the pro version, you get this thinking. The pro, okay, the pro is top notch. The pro is like, whoa, The thinking is good, you know. Mostly I use this. I'm toggling between those two. And the extended is pretty good. It's pretty good for this is good for FileMaker, right? After that, in my everyday life, I switched to the auto because when you are in this mode, you will see that ChatGPT is much less sycophants. Okay, it's straight to the point. It's like much more professional, right? It doesn't do all this BS sometimes that is annoying. Okay, um, so so it's I like the thinking mode. The Pro is excellent, but it takes time, right? So sometimes, like for example here, based on what I ask, you have the time. It thought 37 second, 28 second, right? 32 2 minutes and 39 second, to do this, right? So it can take some time, right? So now you understand that when you go to the free mode and you ask something and poof, it go immediately to the answer. The result when he's thinking even 2 minutes, or if he's thinking like 1 minute and 40, like almost 2 minutes, right? You understand that the result won't be the same. It's like if you ask you something and you answer immediately, it won't be the same answer if I give you like 2 days to think about it, right? So it's the same thing.
There
Mark?
we go. No,
Yeah.
yes. No, yeah, I'm here.
No, no, it's I mean,
It's
what okay, what I try to do in this discussion is that you don't dismiss this. You because you know if you dismiss this, well, I will have to say, okay, it was nice to meet you, because you won't be around anymore. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm telling you the truth here. Because um, it's going fast. So far, all of this, we are pioneers. Like I like to say, we are in 1998. Okay, or even though no, we are in 1994, right? And we get connected to the ARPANET using a gateway from the MIT, right? So this is the first time I ever connected to the internet. Was this? I was at Texas Instruments office in France, and the guy had a connection to the ARPANET. It's before internet in 1994, right? And he was getting connected to the ARPANET throughout a gateway they had at the MIT. So this is where we are. And look where we are now on the internet. So imagine, like, it won't take 30 years, right? It won't take 30 years to it will take like maybe 30 months, right? To 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 make the same leap of evolution that we made in 30 years with internet, to make it for the AI, right? And something that will the breakthrough that will change the world overnight. It will be like a click like this, a snap. Is when we will have the quantum computers, and that is not fiction anymore. They are there, right? But that will be like another dimension. And if you're not in, if you're not familiar, if you're not comfortable, right, with using AI in not only in FileMaker in general, but in FileMaker in particular, if your work is FileMaker, you need, and you will see that you will get hooked with this. You will get better because you can ask Chat and ChatGPT in general. I'm not talking about other things because to me is the most advanced AI for this type of thing. Okay, um, so um, if you and the problem is if you don't go to the pay version, you can. It's like, okay, I want to connect to internet, but I want the free version, which is okay. You are 30 minutes every day free, right? This is what you get with the free version. But internet, you agree to pay internet, right? You agree to pay a cell phone. Your AT&T or whatever, Verizon or don't know what you have, your plan is not free, right? Well, unfortunately, AI is the same thing. And I know $200 is a lot of money, but it depends on where you want to be, where you want to be, and where you want to go. So if you want to reach the next level in developments in FileMaker, right, you need to get there. It's as simple as this. It's cut something else, like I don't know, you cut two restaurants and that's it. I mean, I'm saying it like this, I see in a year the evolution of my work and the quality of my work since I'm using AI in my everyday life, it's outstanding. So that's so many things I couldn't have done without the support of ChatGPT. It was impossible. I show you many, many things, like my salt technique, right? When it came with this at bash technique like 2,500 years ago, right? So and even this SQL for the dashboard and countless other example I have. So I
I
don't
think
know.
I
It's
think go ahead.
yeah. No, no. It's I think it's when you're junior and when you're learning, ChatGPT can be the best teacher ever. When you are, intermediate, like average developer, this definitely can be the kick you need to go to the next level. And when you are an expert, like a ninja, like the boss says, well, this is where you're going to keep, you're going to stay on top, right? You stay on top because you are ahead about everybody all the time. Because since you are already ahead, you keep going ahead because you're using the right tool, right? So otherwise, you will be like the BlackBerry of the FileMaker, right? Once the dominant platform and disappear in 6 months. So you have, and this also a good example of good teaching example. Kodak didn't want to move with the technology, right? A multi-billion company disappear in less than a year, right? 148,000 employees gone, right? In less than a year, because they didn't try, they want to protect and ignore the future. BlackBerry is another example, you know, all those phone companies, they were laughing at Steve Jobs in 2007. They were laughing. Look where they are now. You
It's
know,
an
uh,
interesting, it's a changing of an era.
yeah. A friend of mine. He has the office of the CEO of BlackBerry, the desk. He bought on eBay, $40,000. They sold the CEO desk on eBay at BlackBerry, right? It's a guy in the Silicon Valley, though. So working on Adobe, he bought it. So imagine, so you don't want to be there. So and that's why I'm here, and I'm going to keep going with the AI stuff because you know we need to be there, you know, all of us. Otherwise, we're going to be we over. You can't. It's very important. It's very important because otherwise, yeah, you're in trouble, and I will be in trouble as well. It's a tough time now. This is now to get the right decision, right? You know, uh, I've been, I'm a photographer. I did 2 years of school to become a photographer. I know everything about all the argentic stuff and with the papers and all the chemicals and everything, with their exposition of lights. I know I can you know and then one day I saw the first digital camera, right? It was a Fuji, a big chunk, super heavy, 200 pixel sensor. But I saw it and I said, okay, we dead. We did. So I wanted to be a photographer, and instead I became a painter, painting walls with the father of my girlfriend I had back in the day. During 7 years, I did that on top of some FileMaker work. But I dropped my photographer idea. What do you want me to do with this? I knew this will be done. So I didn't want to invest myself in this. I knew I was dead, right? And I was right. I was right. What do you want me to do with this? In 2, 3 years, all this photograph stuff was gone. So, and so we need to be careful because uh, there you won't look like I like to say. It's not my quote, but I think that quote is a good quote. We're not going to be replaced by AI. We're going to be replaced by people knowing AI. It's not the same thing. Okay. So if you come, let's say you want to compete with me with a customer, right? And the customer says, "Oh, I want this and this and that," and I come with a solution like it's like Star Trek, right? And you come with a solution, it's like, okay, a pencil and a notebook, right? Well, I will win. You know, I will win the fight. So that's why you need to stay on top. And FileMaker is great for that. And ChatGPT, but you need to learn. You need to teach ChatGPT. That's what maybe we can continue to have another series about that, March. How to train ChatGPT, how to get it to learn, right? Your work, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That should be like a good mini series or a good one-off day for like, a list of things that you can do to
Yeah,
improve
we can.
that.
Yeah, we can just sometime jump in and do some new ChatGPT stuff into.
Yeah. With that being said, I think we're good to wrap up if you are. It's been
Okay.
a
Yeah.
good
Yeah. No
discussion.
problem. Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick. Have a good day,
Thank you.
everybody,
You
and
too.
I will see you
And
later.
see you next week.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.